He returns what's still in his hand. The money that he got, that he returns. That means that by the sale price. Let's say there was damage to the property. It got worth less. How do we know that we go by the market price and getting it back? We return what's left over in the property for that amount of time. So one's talking about the person that's in it, one's talking about the value of the property, but it comes out to be the same thing. You always go by the thing that's less. My binayu, what's the difference between Rabbi and Reb Display ben Yehuda? The answer is the Iker v'zel v'Iker. Very interesting. If it was worth a lot, it got worth less, and then it got worth more. So it was sold for 200. It was resold for 100. And when it's in this person's possession of the 100, it gets worth 200. It goes up, it increases in price. So,
excuse me, is it increasing in price because the crop is still in the ground? Or
it could be the property itself.
Or the property itself.
The property itself increased in value. So, according to Rabbi says that I look at the person paid 100, I go after the person, it's 100. According to Rabbi Stoy, he says that I have an option of either looking at the first person, the first purchaser, or I look at the property. The property is 200. So according to Rabbi Stoy, it's going to be 200. Either I look at the original sale, how much money he has left, or I look at the property. So according to Rabbi Stoy, it's 200. According to Rabbi, it's only 100. So we found the difference. Whatever the case is, according to all opinions, over here what you're doing is you're going after the lesser amount. It's always the lesser amount. Mimai de lakula. How do we know that we're always going to be lenient here and give it back to him for the lesser amount? Dilma lachumra. Maybe we should be strict. The obvious question. The Gemara says, Leisal kadaitach. The Gemara gula miyavet ivri. We learn from the redemption of a Jewish slave. V'hasaminalan. How do we know how it works by a Jewish slave? That the Jewish slave wants to buy himself back. He wants to buy himself free. So he always buys himself free for less. How do we know that we always follow the lesser amount when a Jewish slave wants to get free? The Tanya was taught in a Bais. Nimka b'mana v'shbiach. Let's say he sold himself for 6 years for a mana. But however, he learns new skills, he gets better at it, at the job, he gets an increase in salary. Now he wants to buy himself back. He actually doesn't get any more money because he received it all at the beginning to pay back his debts or whatever. But now he wants to buy himself back. He's worth more. So, v'amad al masayim, now he's worth 200. He used to be 100, now he's worth 200. Minayin shem mechashron al b'mana. How do we know that he can buy himself back for a mana? Shenemar bekesef miknasei, from his sale price. Nimka b'masayim v'hichsev amad al mana. The opposite. When he was purchased, he had all these fine qualities. He was bought for 200 coins. Now he wants to buy himself back, he's only worth 100. How do you know that you only look at his price now and he can buy himself back for less? Which is interesting. According to the years. How many years he has left? Means how much he's worth at this point. Mainly al evidivri. I only know that this is referring to an evidivri, to a Jewish slave. Hanimka levid kichavim, that's sold to a non-Jew. Shenigal, that he gets redeemed like this, because that's what the pasuk is referring to. V'yadayal el yaina, and he has the upper hand that he always pays the lower amount. Nimka li Yisrael minayin. How do we know that if he's sold to a Jew, it's the same? Talmud Leimer schir l'gzeir shava. We know that there's a Gezeira Shavet, that even if he's sold to a Jew. And we learn Geula from Avid Ivri to the property, that he gets his property back. Amar Abaya says, Harini ki Benazi ki Beshuki Tveria. He says, me and Benazai, we're the same in the marketplace in Tveria. And it was just like Benazai said that all the sages are compared to him like the peel of a garlic, except for Kerech Hazer. Remember we had that Gemara in Bechiris? So Abaye says, I'm the same like Ben Azai. So right away he gets asked the question. Amalei Umer Rabbanan La Rabbi. Oh yeah? Okay, so here's the question. He asks Abaye, Ikala Midrashinu Lekula Midrashinu Lechumra. We can learn this in two ways, lenient and strict. These psukim about the Eved Ivri, that he buys himself back. How do you know that you're lenient? Maybe you should be strict. He says, don't think like that. We know that the Torah is very lenient regarding an Eved Ivri. And so therefore, when it comes to purchasing himself back, we should go always lenient, go easy on him. The Tanya was taught in the Braisa. It's because it's good for him with you. What does that mean, with you? Imach b'maichal, with you in eating. That means you have to serve him the same food. Imach b'mishti, you can't serve him like a slave. You have to serve him at what you're eating. Together, you would drink. But you can't eat eating the white bread and he eating the I don't know what keeper is, pumpernickel, the black bread or whatever. Yeah, you drink the aged wine and he drinks the new wine, the grape juice. You sleep on mattresses and he sleeps on the floor, on the ground. From here they said, someone purchases a Jewish slave, it's like he purchased a master. Instead of a slave, he purchased a master because the guy has all these claims on it. The Gemara says, so this is a proof that we should let the slave go free. You see how much the Torah is concerned about him. The Gemara says, it's the opposite. Listen to what Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina says. What Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina is about to do, he's about to go through all the psukim of Vayikra Chafei, chapter 25. He's going to go through all these cases, one after another. Because of a sin, this is going to happen. And then if you don't do tshuva, then that's going to happen. It goes on. It goes like this. See how much the dust, how strict it is. Shvius, Shmita. Adam v'naisim perish Shvius. Person does business with the fruits of Shvius, which he's not allowed to do. The safe meichers metaltla. He's going to have to sell his items of his house. Shnemer b'shnasa yevel zes teshuva yishalach uzasei. At the yovel, a person will return to his inheritance uksiv, and right afterwards it says, v'chisimker mimkar la misecha ikana miyad misecha davar nekne miyad liyad. Someone purchases from his friend, or he purchases from the hands of his friend. What are we talking about? Something that goes from hand to hand, which means movable items. If he doesn't realize that the reason why he had to sell his household items was because he wasn't careful with Shemitah, he's going to end up selling his actual fields. He's going to sell from his inheritance, and it goes on to the laws of selling the inherited field. If it doesn't come to his hand, it switches the language here. It means he doesn't recognize that he's doing something wrong. He's going to have to sell his house. If someone sells a house in a walled city, why over there does it say he didn't recognize? Over here it says it didn't come to his hands. The first sin, it said he didn't recognize. The second one says it didn't come to his hands. Kidder Rav Huna, like this famous statement of Rav Huna, Dam Rav Huna says, if a person does a sin, and then he repeats the sin, he does it a second time, Hutrulai, becomes permissible. One asks, Hutrulai salkadaitach, do you think it becomes permissible? It doesn't become permissible just because you sinned. Hey, I did this already, you're allowed to do it again. You did a sin once, it becomes permissible? No. Laisa, don't think, Ella ema nasa like it appears to him permissible. He says, yeah, I do this all the time, it's not a problem. So what happened here is that first he wasn't careful with Shemitah. He didn't recognize that he was doing a sin. Afterwards, it's not that he didn't recognize that he's doing a sin. He doesn't even recognize that it's a sin. It's not that he said, oh, it's not so severe. He doesn't even recognize that's a sin. It's like it becomes nothing. It becomes like I do this all the time. It's not a problem. Leibas liyada, if he continues on, l'seif shelav abribis, he's going to borrow with interest. Remember, v'chiyamach achicha ksiv al tikach minitei neshech v'tarbis. Don't take interest. Leibas liyada, he still doesn't repent. Ad shemaycher l'sbita, he has to sell his daughter as a maidservant. Remember, chiyimkar ish l'sbita lama. V'afagav debita b'hayin yana lesa. Even though regarding selling the daughter, it doesn't say in that chapter, in chapter 25, that says in Parshas Mishpatim, in Shemais, in Exodus. It's a different book of the Torah. But Nichalinish to listen brativ le'leziv per Rabbi said, a person would rather sell his daughter than to use a credit card, than to borrow with interest. Why? Over there, he keeps losing more and more. Every month he doesn't pay it. Gets but every month he doesn't redeem her. The redemption price gets less. So with his daughter, he can redeem her back, but it gets less. He still doesn't repent. He has to sell himself as a slave. He sells himself to a stranger. It's not even a convert. It's the stranger, the citizen that lives over there that's not Jewish. That's talking about a non-Jew. When it says how do they translate le'eker? An idol. He sells himself to an idol. So the problem over here is, why are we being so lenient on the Eved Ivri? Why would we be leaning on the Eved Ivri? We should be strict on him because he did a sin. Ha'hadrikra. Gemara says, but no, the pasuk returns him back and tells that we should have compassion on him. The Tana debei Rabbi Shmuel, and it was taught in the house of Rabbi Shmuel. Hayol v'halach v'machar asma lavedus kavim idche even achar ha'neifel. He sold himself to an idol. Should we throw a stone after the one that's fallen? Talmud loymar gula salem tiyalai b'yevel yetzei. Ema gula tiyalai. The lay litma b'vid kechavim. V'lo olam linyan pidyani nachmer. Maybe we redeem him, but it doesn't mean that we're lenient on his redemption. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak ksiv v'mayd rabis b'shanim v'ksiv v'ma'at nisha b'shanim. If there's a lot of years left, and there's a few years left. It says, are there longer years or shorter years? El nisra b'kasef mikasef miknasai nismayet kaspai. El nisra b'kaspai mikasef miknasai. If he has his price increases, we go to the sale price. Nismayet kaspai. If his price decreases, kvishanov, then we go by how many years he has left, which is his value now. Maybe what it means to say is if he only worked 2 years, but he still has 4 years left, then he has to give 4 coins, and that's the pasuk mikasef miknasai. But if he worked for 4 years and he only has 2 left, so he only gives 2. In other words, we're not learning a halacha here of being lenient or strict. If that's the case, if there's more years. Why? Bishanim, nisraba kaspe bishanim mikasem miknasei, asmai kaspe bishanim kvishanim. That extra word, bishanim, is telling me that I go after the cheaper price. Amar Rav Yosef, Dashina Rav Nachman lahani kroi kisinai. Rav Yosef says that Rav Nachman taught these halachas as they were taught from Sinai. Let's leave it over here.
Okay, Jeff, I'm going to show you off.